this meeting to order. We'll pledge allegiance to the flag. Right behind you. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Today's National Runner's Day, or whatever, so tennies on. There we go. Okay. We got a few visitors. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Roll call.
Mark Foltz.
Present.
Mark Frazier.
Here.
Francis Griffin.
Here.
Ellen Schmidt here. Troy Furman.
Here. Okay. The regular meeting agenda.
I will make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Agenda is accepted. Next on our agenda, May 3rd minutes, which are online and also printed off for you.
A motion to approve the minutes.
Motion's been made,
Second.
seconded by Butch. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is our little, we have two public comment. One's just open public comment section, then we have an extended one. Any comments?
We'll let you guys talk when we get to your spot on the agenda. So.
Okay. Okay. Then we'll start with our reports. Troy, the sheriff report from...
Looks like last month there were 185 calls in the township. 56 of them were traffic stops.
Okay. Okay. And Mark, see some?
We're still waiting for all the bids on the audit.
Oh,
We don't have the 2015 audit back yet,
oh my.
because they don't have the same penalties for our group as they do for like a township for not getting it done in a timely manner. So, at this point, we're seeing a big variety of bids. It costs. And he's got some sample pieces. They're actually highly visible vests with blinking lights in them for use when they're working an accident on an expressway, because that's probably the most dangerous spot in the job is when you're near a lot of fast traffic. And so he wants to make sure that he's doing everything he can to try to alleviate a problem. So that's...
That'd be good in the evening and night too, would be.
Well, yeah, but in the daytime, even the way those lights are set up,
Yeah.
you'll see them easier. And calls are up, and it's predominantly ambulance calls. So.
Okay. All right. The DDA, of course, we didn't meet, and I will say that Consumers is still working on putting together some information for the DDA for street lights along Old Lansing Road. They did put a quote together on street lighting if we bought it, and that's over $100,000, but they're working on something where it'd be cheaper for us to rent. And then zoning, we basically had one small build and a above ground pool permit, and that's about it. Commissioners not present. Recycling, Troy.
Okay, you may have noticed there was an article that came out in the Argus Monday, I believe, and we had a recycling meeting a week or so ago. We have been having, I've discussed this before, an ongoing problem with a lot of illegal dumping at the recycling center. And the problem, particularly with the cardboard, has gotten quite out of hand. I mean, we have, it's effectively being used as a dumpster, you know. And when there is, I mean, normally on cardboard, we have a pull charge that Granger charges to change it out, and then there's depending on the weight of it and the commodity price of cardboard, we sometimes get a rebate back. Well, when it's contaminated, we don't get that back, and it's been so contaminated the last few times it's had to be landfilled because had so much garbage in it. We've had a couple, it appears, commercial companies that have been hauling in literally pickup truckloads of cardboard, putting in there.
I've seen them there.
Not putting a penny in the donation box, sometimes full of packaging material and everything else. So that's not working. So what we decided to do is that we're going to discontinue cardboard there. Both containers are actually going to be pulled on the 15th of June. And it's going to give the time to clean up the area underneath it and everything. And we're going to, starting July 1st, the single stream one will be back, and we're going to change the directions so that both sides of it are visible from the quarters of the transfer station operator to help discourage that problem, and also that'll give us steps to go down both sides of it. And we're gonna try that. You know, I mean, we're just running out. I mean, outside of having somebody sit there and watch it the entire time it's open, which we can't afford. I don't know. The committee was just kind of running out of ideas.
Wasn't the schools putting cameras in there or something?
The cost of
The school, we had an article that was put in the paper back in March when we had these concerns, and the school had offered that potentially we could install some cameras if we paid for it. I mean, they were a few $100s, and it could be to their network to monitor. That, of course, didn't do any recording, that was just monitoring, which, I mean, somebody's got to monitor it on Saturday, all the times it's open. Well, it's not open on Sundays, but there were some other questions that we were having difficulty getting answered as well, and quite frankly, unless you have a clear view of who it is and a clear view of a license plate number, there's much to do about it, So that's what the committee decided to do. So, we will just have single stream there starting July 1st, and we will see how that goes. Perhaps if we see lots of improvements and everything else, maybe we can revisit it in the future. But that was what the committee's recommendation was, and I mean I don't see any other options. I mean, the other option was just to be done with it altogether. I mean, until
that was in the Independence too, Troy.
yeah, and well, the Argus, we sent out a press release, and then the Argus did an article on Monday too. Quite frankly, after we had the article in March, I think the problem got worse.
Oh.
We had a nice front page talking about it, and pictures of the dumping, and the problem got worse. I think people took that as an opportunity to take their junk there. And until, maybe in the future, if things change at the village and they're willing to require the attendant of the transfer station to be more attendant, we can pursue other options.
Oh, he's hired by the village?
He's hired by the village. And it has been made very clear to us that it is not his job to patrol the recycling center, and he is too busy to do that, and, blah, 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 blah.
He doesn't do it.
And he does not do that. So, maybe if things ever change there, we can pursue some other options. So that's where that is on that. And then we did have, I got the donation box a couple of weeks ago, and there was $165 in donations on that. So, overall, it's going okay, but, that was just an ongoing problem. And,
It's out of hand.
well, to the people that avidly recycle, to have their stuff just end up landfill, and I mean, that's a waste of everybody's time, And that's what they have to do when it's full of trash.
So single stream, and that is plastics.
Plastics, tins, newspaper.
So what happens if the cardboard gets thrown into there now?
Well, there's gonna be new signs put everywhere that says no cardboard in there. Of course, those holes are much smaller, so. It could be, if that becomes a huge problem, then we'll have to stop that. I mean, there's only so much we can do. Like I said, we're updating the signs that clearly say no cardboard and putting them everywhere, but I don't know what else to do.
All right. And the library? Mark?
Well, they're working on their budget. I think they're pretty close to approving it. Their summer programs are starting right now. And they also said that if you have a library card, you can use it at over 400 places across the state for things you might be doing this summer, so. To help it for discounts or even maybe free, I'm not sure. And an interesting thing was that most of the schools in the county no longer have libraries within the schools, or at least a library like we saw where, they actually had books in them.
Wow.
The exceptions are a couple of them that the libraries are actually CDL's libraries that are within the school, like in Byron. So the local libraries get used a lot by kids needing to come and look at a book to do a report, and they don't even know how to use the library. So the libraries are becoming actually more important since the schools are no longer
Supporting them.
doing that, and teaching that, so that's kind of
Interesting.
interesting.
Computers.
Yeah, yep.
Let's see, I-69 trade corridor.
We did not have a meeting last month.
Okay. I missed the park.
Uh,
Park?
I doubt there's anything.
Nothing to report.
Okay, good. SCDP,
Not that I know of.
all right.
Well,
Mark?
there's a meeting.
No meeting,
Planning Commission, no
No
meeting,
meeting.
okay.
Oh, on the SCDP, their annual meeting is
June
coming.
22nd.
June 22nd, and that's at the Laborers Training Center, you
Yes.
said?
Mhm.
Okay. Did I miss anything? Okay, so good. So that's our reports. Going once, going twice, all right. Financial report and pay the bills, Troy.
You have your bills list in front of you. Obviously we had the roof was the big one on there, and it's all taken care of. So the final amount there had the additional wood that they replaced. So pretty much as expected there. Are there any questions on the bills?
no, pay the bills.
I'll second. Roll call vote, Kelly?
Mark Foltz,
Yes?
George Fraser,
Yes.
Francis Griffith,
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes, Ray Carmel.
Yes.
Okay. Correspondence. Other than our audience, who we're going to have later, I really haven't had a lot. Daystar, we're going to talk about that. We had a meeting, we'll talk about that a little later. So that's really all the correspondence. Kelly, did you have any?
The only thing that I got something from MTA, it's Principles of Governance, and I'll let you guys read through this. It's basically a pledge to the community as to how we run our township.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
you want to sign it? Okay.
Didn't we do that before?
Yeah, we've done it before.
Yeah. This is just an updated one.
Okay. And since last meeting, is there any unfinished business we've got? No. That you know of? Okay, we couldn't think of any. Okay. Moving right along. New business. We have a parcel that we've owned for some time on Bruce Road. We have them in the audience. Actually, we're realtor, Mike, Morgan, and Terry Crook. Terry's from Bruce Road in Perry. And welcome to our community.
Thank you.
You like it so far?
I do like it.
Yeah, and I've seen her walk her dog on
Yeah.
the road, and you probably didn't know I was here, and I
No?
probably didn't know you were down there. So,
Okay, so this parcel.
go ahead, Troy's going to.
So this parcel that we own there on Bruce Road, it went up for taxes quite a few years ago. And so nobody bought it at the tax sales, and by default, when it's not bought by a tax sale, it reverts to us unless we deny it.
How much was owed back taxes? Do you have any idea?
I can figure it out, but I don't remember. I mean, those get wiped off. I mean, we have to forgive our part of township operating on it, which wouldn't have been much, you know.
Okay.
So, but I mean, when it reverts through that process at the tax sale and it's given to us, the taxing units get charged back their portion, what was on the tax roll the next year. So, I mean, you know, do we have a couple $100 into it? Maybe, you know. But it was quite a few years ago. I mean, it hasn't been super recent. So anyway, The parcel is, as it sits, is unbuildable. It does not have enough frontage, nor is it big enough acreage-wise, which is the main reason probably that it went up. It is our understanding, we don't have any firm documentation or anything on this, that the people that owned Mrs. Crook's parcel prior had bought or were making arrangements of this, to buy this some time ago, and whether they did not realize, nothing's been recorded at the Register of Deeds, so there was no document there, whether that was true, or if that's just word on the street, we don't know, and neither of them are around anymore to confirm with that. So, based on, what is there, that's the situation. Her parcel by itself too is technically a non-conforming lot presently also. It doesn't meet the size or frontage requirements. So, if she ever had an issue with that house, you'd have to have a variance to, if it burned to the ground, for example, you'd have to have a variance to rebuild it, because it is a non-conforming lot under the ordinance.
By merging these two lots, does that make it conforming?
Right, by merging them, it makes it a conforming lot, it would have 200 feet of frontage, and then it would have the acreage requirement with it. The parcels that surround it to the south and to the east, it wouldn't make much, neither of them could combine with theirs, because they would make theirs non-conforming, it would make them too big. So, because you gotta be between the 1 and 2.5 acre issue. So,
It's kind of interesting that got split it all.
the way that was split, I have no idea how that was allowed, because in '97, we were under most of the present ordinance. It was really adopted in '99, but most of the rules weren't present there. I have no idea how all those divisions were made, because they're all illegal lots. I mean, they
I
are.
can tell you what I was told by the neighbor, but
All of the ones on Boulder Lane and all that are non-conforming. I can also tell you that all the people that were at the county office no longer work at the county office now. So,
Or a non-conforming road.
so in any case, Mark, they had approached Mark, and we talked about it, and I suggested that they make us a proposal. Whatever we do, if we agree or make a different offer or anything, that my recommendation would be that anything be, we aren't going to be able, since we went through a tax sale, probably the best we're going to be able to do is a quick claim deed on it, for title, and, we won't be responsible for any closing costs, title fees, nothing. That will all have to be buyer's responsibility.
So what do you feel is a fair price?
Anything in real estate is negotiable.
I think it was $1,200 when it went to the tax sale.
yeah,
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Zahara Littman bought it for $1,200.
Okay.
And then he didn't pay taxes on it.
Right.
Because they found out it was people go to the tax sale, and they, rarely does something go to a tax sale and,
There's not a problem.
not a problem. You rarely find something at a tax sale that's just a pristine property.
Yeah,
There's,
unlike what the books tell you.
right, there's contamination, there's non-buildable issues, there's title issues, there's something.
Terry, is it a nice piece of property? Is it?
Well, it has my septic field on it. The entire septic field is on that.
It is on there.
So-
You're gonna need that.
What, yeah.
You're gonna need that, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
So they bought it for $1,200, they must have just been the high bidder on that. Taxes wouldn't have been that much on it, so.
Okay. So, thanks, Kelly.
What year was that?
And it's more than 50% wetland.
Yes,
I apologize,
yes.
Terry and I had talked about doing a drawing with some color and stuff.
Okay.
You guys have this?
I did.
Oh, okay, great, fantastic.
We all have that. She brought that in at 4 o'clock, right on time, just like you said.
Close,
So
right?
it's our decision, whatever the board wishes to do.
What do you recommend?
What do you recommend? Pass this street.
What's its value? I don't know, it's not
There
buildable.
used to be
You could build it as a garden or something in there
In
too.
the
if you
sale, I
wanted.
had Carmen.
But it's
remove those.
mostly,
And that cost for $2,000 just
there's a
to
lot of
remove those
wetland
two things.
issue.
Because I thought that was part of the house, Because Shiawassee County came.
All right, I
up
make
with
a motion that we accept $1,000 for that piece of property.
I'll second
To
I'll second that.
provide a quick claim deed with no other
Township.
The buyer,
claims.
buyer be
assumes all
responsible for all
responsibilities.
fees and costs associated with the transfer.
With combining the two parcels.
Oh, I plan on doing that. I don't
Let's
want
do
it to
that,
get
yeah.
lost anywhere.
Right, would you
Again.
add that to your motion?
Sure.
Contingent,
Just-
we want those combined, so there's not an issue going
I mean,
forward.
too,
Made a
especially
motion
if the
that
house were
we,
to burn
uh,
down, now I'll be conforming, right? I
Right.
could build.
Right.
Right,
Do you wanna,
exactly.
let's make sure we got the motion clear.
Okay, hold on a second. So we are going to provide a quick claim deed only.
Yeah, that's all we have, that's all we can provide.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if they want to look at the title, process of applying a title to get a better.
And the township is not responsible for recording or
Any-
Title insurance,
Title.
title fees, nothing. Real estate commissions, nothing.
insurance. And buyer must combine the two lots.
Yes.
Which you're gonna, that'll probably, where your costs will be, is doing all that with the county.
Yeah, you'll have more than $1,000 and all that other stuff.
All right, roll call, I guess.
You
I'll
agree to
I'll
that?
second the motion that Mark made, yeah. Roll call vote?
Francis Griffin,
Yes.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Troy Crumley,
Yes.
Mark Foltz.
Yes.
Mark Fraser.
Yes.
Okay, pass.
Thank you.
Okay, so just, I mean, as you go through the process, just let us know, I mean, once you arrange for a title company and all that, and, the supervisor and clerk are the authorized signers on that. So, okay?
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Is that what you needed?
Yes, that's right.
Good luck.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your time
Yep.
and helping us with this.
Yeah, you
Not,
guys are
well, it's
cooperative and
It's best to get it, whenever we can take two non-conforming situations and make it conforming, and it's, I mean, if this were something that was truly buildable, then we'd really have to go out and solicit sealed bids and stuff like that, but it's of no value to really anyone else, so.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And anytime we put
Appreciate it.
these
I know you
back
had
on
some
the tax rolls,
Yeah.
Helps us.
no matter what it's worth,
There's some value there.
Awesome,
Yeah,
thank you.
have a nice evening.
Thank you, you too.
Okay. The next item on new business is our Daystar Communications proposal. Kelly, kind of go through it. Can you give us a
No,
first?
but you go.
Me? Well,
no bad one.
Mark over here said, hey, you ought to get hold of Daystar. He was telling me they are into communications. We were complaining about our particular link with our internet, and some of our staff have had trouble. And so I did meet with another guy named Mark Hudson, who gave us a list of
Didn't he come
satisfied.
out, didn't he come out right after,
Twice.
but I mean, after we discussed it, he came out.
He came out.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
he came out here.
Yeah.
He came out, he was down at the church on the corner. They're gonna have hook up. And he wondered if we were interested. Well, all these businesses in Corunna, Lynxburg, Ovid, Wasso, Duran.
Yeah. There's a list of
Perry.
businesses in there anyway.
Well,
So
the
we-
fire department went to this
Yes.
last year in
Yeah.
Perry, and they're
Yeah.
real happy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to a few people that have done it too anyway. They attached a comparison for us
Long
based
story
on,
short, right,
based
side by
on,
side.
based on what we're paying now, our local and long distance and internet, which is, around $350, $360 a month. And they would do it for $214 a month. Now, there is,
Plus he identified an 800, number of 800 line, which we eliminated.
that's what we saved, a whopping $7 a month.
We didn't even know we had it.
What to do.
Yeah.
Anyway, but to extend, they're exploring down the road to see how much interest there is down there. And he made a proposal to us to, if we would pay one-time upfront fee of $800 for extending, the fiber at least down to us.
Right.
Obviously, we would make that back within the first year.
Half,
Yeah,
first
yeah.
half a year.
First half a year, and like I said, I've talked to some people, and you said the fire, everybody's been very happy with it.
Well, we definitely need an improvement in both our phone service and our internet, especially our internet,
You're right.
because that's becoming more critical all the time. And, there's just so many things that depend on that now. I think it's a no-brainer.
It'll take another 5 months out before, because it's got to get consumers, and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that, but.
But that's fine, let's start the process.
Okay.
So, and then that's contingent on us paying the $800 fee, and we will then sign a 3-year agreement.
Document, all right.
I mean, we can afford to pay the.
Kelly, what's your take on this?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
The TDS is
Yeah,
really becoming.
the internet is, I mean, we don't really have any phone problems, but the internet problems.
So Troy, you want to put this proposal, wording together? How would you word it?
I would make a motion that we accept the Daystar Communication proposal for Curry Township.
Letter
I
dated
second.
June 6th, June 6th,
I second.
and Mark seconds it. That's pretty easy, roll call vote.
Kelly Schmidt, yes. Trey Harmony?
Yes.
Mark Foltz?
Yes.
Mark Frazier?
Yes.
Francis Griffin?
Yes.
All right. Moving on, the last new business was the purchase of ceiling tiles, which are in this room.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Kelly?
Okay, so we had we had some damage with the roof leaking, and quite frankly, some of these tiles are probably as old as this building, and it needs an update. The intention is to paint the grids white and to replace the ceiling tiles. I pulled off, and Butch can get a discount at Lowe's. So I pulled off some ceiling tiles, couple styles. The first style that you see with the amount of $4,585 is actually, it's like a recessed grid and look like that. So where the tile actually sits below the grid. And it looks like it's 2 tiles instead of one large 2x4 tile. So that's that one. The other price is the $3,153. Tiles just like this, they would sit just like this.
And your plan is to paint the grids.
Oh, they're all white, yeah. Paint the grids white, spruce it up a little bit. People have put lots of tape on it, so we'll have to, take care of that and just kind of update the hall.
Do you care which one, Kelly?
I would prefer the ones that sit below. They look a little more modernized.
They do. I would prefer that too.
So,
I've
but
seen them and
I,
they're very nice.
can I suggest that we do a little more price checking?
Do you want to go ahead and authorize up to an amount, and perhaps we can find?
Yeah, that's fine. The only reason I suggest that is it's tickling the back of my head that when we did the garbage enclosures at the cemetery, that we got a discount on materials.
Well,
And they're
where?
at Menards, and their initial cost is the exact same as Lowe's.
Okay,
Okay,
the
well,
one thing with Menards is that they offer rebates. And that's the only thing that we get is
Oh,
rebates.
you have to
We
use
have to
it.
go
You
back.
gotta use the money right back there.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
and that's one of the reasons why.
We could certainly, if we authorize an up to amount, we could certainly check. I mean, there's a place in Lansing that does commercial, tiles. We might.
Right,
So
and
let's just authorize up to, an up
and
to
self-serve
amount.
lumber and Durand
I-
is another one that could
Okay.
possibly be less money. I'm only,
Sure, we can do
that.
that. I did check Home Depot, and we would end up having, because it would be Butch's discount, we would end up having to do tax on it, but we're still getting 4%.
Oh, okay.
4% discount.
well, did you talk to somebody at Lowe's and ask them if we get a discount just from being a local government?
Government
I
discount.
haven't talked to anybody.
Okay.
I
might not be a
looked
bad
to see
idea.
what kind, the thing that I was looking for when I was looking for the tiles was on the back of the sheets. There's fire resistance, there's sag resistance, there's mold resistance, and there's mildew resistance. And these tiles that are in here are just fiber tiles, and
30 years old.
yeah, and these also have a 30-year limited warranty, the ones that
I'll make a motion that we authorize up to $5,000 for the replacement of the ceiling tiles and painting the
I'll
grills.
second that.
That kind of,
Discussion, Butch?
you're looking at getting at least 1 or 2 extra boxes, aren't you? Kelly?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Let's have a roll call vote to purchase the ceiling tile.
Let's see, where are we here? Troy Parley.
Yes.
Mark Foltz.
Yes.
Mark Frazier.
Yes,
Francis Griffin.
Yes.
we want to be real vigilant, and I think you are anyway, about if somebody damages one by playing around with something long.
Well, the other thing that I was thinking about is how we could allow people to be able to hang stuff from the ceilings, but not actually attaching anything to the grids or,
Well, you know, there is clips.
we've got clips.
Okay, you don't like those.
Well, people steal them, they're gone. Every time we put some up, they're gone.
Epoxy,
Huh?
epoxy to the
Well,
grid.
the whole point of those clips is so that they can move them around to where they want. But my thought was, and I don't know if this is a good plan or not, is to maybe put eye bolts right at the lower edge of on the wall, the ceiling, so that they can string stuff from those instead of from the actual ceiling itself.
I mean, like there, so if you wanna put some streamers across, you can do
Right.
that.
And then maybe try to figure out some way to put some in the middle or, you know.
Well, you got your
something like-
wall.
Yeah, that too. But that was a thought that I had was, you know, to try to keep.
You know what
them
that sounds like to
opposite.
me?
There used to be a post there you could hook to, but there's not anymore.
There's-
And also the ceiling fans that
Yeah,
people hung
you can't
crap
put stuff
from.
on the ceiling fans and spin it around. This sounds like a management decision more than a board decision, and since the clerk is kind of the manager of the facilities, I don't think putting a few eye screws in the walls and then that wall over, that short wall up there is that expensive. I
No,
can't
it's not.
imagine that would be.
But I was trying to figure out a way to keep people off the grids.
Yeah.
Because they damage the tiles, they, like, you see tape everywhere. you know.
Well,
you
the problem
have
is,
to-
that you push one up to do that, and these are old enough, they break. And of course, we've got, I know Butch fixed several of these where they were, you know, when the wires were hanging low and stuff.
So you're gonna wanna change your rule sheet a little bit for people that rent it, that there'd be no attachment to the ceiling. Or there will be.
When we get to that
Or
point,
there
we'll
will
do
be
that.
a damage charge for using
I
the
agree.
ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, it always said in there, you're not supposed to attach to the ceiling fans, but everybody did.
Yeah,
And of
and
course,
wrap up the
the
balloons.
balloon string all wrapped
Left
around the
over.
door.
Is there any other public, any other comment?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned, okay.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Second.